Obviously, I want to come and take rank 7 off Michael. You know what I mean? That's the motivation. Stop getting called a prospect and start getting called a contender. So that's the goal. The goal is always to become world champion. And obviously, the extra motivation is my babies. You know what I mean? I've got to put food on the table for them. If I lose, I won't be getting anywhere near as much. So there's no such thing as losing. We just come in to win.
Michael Chandler caught threatening Paddy Pimblett. 1 foot on his throat. Is this the biggest mistake of Chandler's career? UFC insiders warn the veteran is finished if he loses at UFC 314. Has Michael Chandler's UFC career come to a dead end? Is the former Bellator champion about to be humiliated by a rising star with a haircut that looks like it belongs in a 90s boy band? Or will Iron Mike silence the doubters with the most violent performance of his career?
As I say, I think I can finish this fight anyway. He loves lunging in with his punches. I can see me catching him with a shot on the way in, putting him down. Or I can actually see me submitting. I don't see a way I lose, to be honest. I really don't.
Look at the size of those paws, dude.
Come on, lad. See the size of these?
Look at the size of those paws.
See the size of these? But,
bird hands,
yeah,
dude.
I think we're gonna have a scrap on the feet. I know Mike won't take me down. I know he knows he'll be in for a world of trouble on the floor. So I think we're gonna have a scrap on the feet.
Michael Chandler versus Paddy the Baddy Pimblett at UFC 314 in Miami, a fight where literally everything is on the line. When Khabib Nurmagomedov's coach says you're in trouble, should you be worried? And what about Sean O'Malley claiming Pimblett is just 1 fight away from a title shot? Stay with us as we dive deep into what could be the fight that changes the landscape of the UFC lightweight division forever.
As they would say in the UK, 2 proper fights. I think if he gets 2 proper fights, that there is a chance for him to fight for the title.
Who knows who's champ at that time? I predict Paddy becomes UFC champion at some point in his career. Paddy could be he's very marketable. That was the first fight he's had his babies. He had twins. That literally having a kid will change you. And he had 2.
Yeah, I've got.
What do you think? Will Chandler's experience prevail, or is Pimblett going to end his career? Drop your predictions in the comments below and tell us if you're Team Iron or Team Baddy.
People haven't seen it maybe, but over the last couple of years, I've really put together some really good game plans, some things that happened in the Charles Oliveira fight that really reminded me that I am becoming more and more of a veteran. I think I'm still getting better, so I'm excited to go out there and compete. And my son Hap loves the double thumbs up. I won't do it right now when we FaceTime because it does throw those fireworks up, but that's exactly what this fight is going to be, fireworks on April 12th.
Michael Chandler's UFC journey has been nothing short of a roller coaster. The 38-year-old veteran finds himself in a precarious position ahead of UFC 314. After a stunning debut knockout over Dan Hooker in 2021, Chandler has gone just 1-4 in his last 5 fights. His stunning front kick knockout of Tony Ferguson at UFC 274 showed flashes of brilliance, but losses to Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and again to Oliveira at UFC 309 have put Iron Mike in desperate need of a win.
Co-main event between number 7 ranked Michael Chandler and number 12 ranked Paddy Pimblett.
Let's not forget, this is a man who was supposed to face Conor McGregor in what would have been the biggest payday of his career. After coaching opposite the Irishman on The Ultimate Fighter, the fight fell apart when McGregor withdrew due to injury.
Back on the toes. Fully back on the feet now.
No, dude, fucking crazy.
You know what I mean?
It's fucking crazy. 3 days ago, you were fucking crushing.
Fully back on the feet.
In a recent interview with ESPN MMA, Chandler reflected on his 2-year layoff. The last 2 years for me have been all about growth and patience. Obviously, with the way the Conor McGregor thing happened, I like to say it happened for me and not to me. There were definitely moments where it was tough, but overall, as I sit here today, I look back on it and realize it was such a huge blessing for me.
Taking this fight.
I think it's part of the life cycle of a fighter. You know, you continue to fight the top competition at all times, continue to push yourself, but at some point, you've got to give a guy like Paddy an opportunity to prove either he is who he says he is or he is not. But I plan on April 12th to prove who I am, one of the best lightweights on the planet. And Scousers don't get knocked out apparently, but they've never been hit by the likes of me. I'm really, really excited to test his chin. I'm excited to test his heart, his metal.
But make no mistake, Chandler isn't taking this fight lightly. He understands the threat that Pimblett poses. I'm not taking Paddy lightly. Even if he self-proclaims he looks like a 16-year-old boy, he doesn't fight like that. I'm looking at Paddy like he's the most dangerous guy I could possibly face on April 12th.
That has been my strength of schedule thus far. But I'm not taking Paddy lightly. An absence of strength of schedule is not the presence of weakness. I'm looking at Paddy like he's the most dangerous guy who I could possibly face on April 12th. Even if he is self-proclaimed looks like a 16-year-old boy, but he doesn't fight like that. And we're going to go out and we're going to put on a show for the fans.
And Michael, one more for you, buddy.
On the other side of the octagon stands Paddy Pimblett, the charismatic Liverpool native who has taken the UFC by storm since his debut in 2021. Currently riding a 6-fight win streak in the promotion, the Baddy most recently submitted veteran Bobby Green at UFC Manchester last July. Now ranked number 12 in the lightweight division, Pimblett sees Chandler as his ticket to the elite. With his brash personality and growing fan base, a win over a name like Chandler could catapult him into the top 10 and potentially set up a title eliminator. UFC bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley has been impressed with what he's seen from the Scouser. Paddy versus Michael Chandler is such an interesting fight. Michael Chandler is such a gangster for taking that fight. It's still a big win if he beats Paddy. Maybe not in some people's eyes, but Paddy is fuckstarter skilled. What he did to Bobby Green was super. It's a big fight.
There is a chance for him to fight for the title.
Who knows who's champ at that time? I predict Paddy becomes UFC champion at some point in his career. Paddy could be he's very marketable. That was the first fight he's had his babies. He had twins. That literally having a kid will change you. And he had 2.
Yeah, I've got something to fight for now, know what I mean? As I say, no one, you know, when I get in that cage with us taking food out of my baby's mouth, know what I mean? Betty and Margot and Laura are the most important things in the world to me, and I'm doing everything for them.
Pimblett himself isn't lacking confidence. During a recent joint interview with Chandler, he boldly stated, "As you all know, Scousers don't get knocked out." To which Chandler quickly replied, "Scousers don't get knocked out apparently, but they've never been hit by me."
Something to fight for now, know what I mean? As I say, no one, you know, when I get in that cage with us taking food out of my baby's mouth, know what I mean? Betty and Margot and Laura are the most important things in the world to me, and I'm doing everything for them.
The tension between these two is palpable, with Pimblett predicting a second-round finish. If he's right, it could spell the end of Chandler's hopes for another title run. Adding fuel to the fire, Team Khabib's head coach Javier Mendez recently weighed in on the fight during his show, and his assessment doesn't bode well for Chandler. "I might favor Paddy a little bit because he's on a roll. Michael has to, do or die. Kind of like what Dustin did with Islam. He gave it his best, and man, that was a hell of a fight."
A lot of people don't know, Habib's more the coach than I am. I'm more the mentor to Habib, and I am a coach to all those other guys. But the show with the Eagle Dagestan boys is run by Habib, even though they say I'm the head coach. It's really Habib. He's really the head coach. But I'm his mentor, and I'm his head coach. So in a roundabout way, I am the head coach, but I'm really not, because, I say 9 o'clock training. I show up, okay, I'll give you an example. I show up this Friday at the Apex. Thursday. I show up Thursday for Apex. I'm waiting there at 9 o'clock, and I'm waiting. No one's there. Mom's like, "Hey, you guys, where's training?" They go, "Oh, coach," Habib leaves me a voice message. "Oh, coach, I wanted to give you the day off because today is grappling day and you don't do nothing on grappling. So I wanted to give you the day off, blah, 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 blah." And I'm going, okay, that's fine. I don't care. I'll take the day off. But had you told me last night, then I could have been gambling all night instead of waiting to go to sleep early. He actually saved me money. But still, what I'm trying to say here is, I said 9 o'clock. Habib changed it to another location could have changed the time. He could have ever. It doesn't matter. It happens to me all the time. And I'll be honest with you, I never got mad one time because I know one thing about my Dagestan guys that there's no disrespect ever. Not one time in my life have those guys ever one time disrespected me. Never.
Mendez didn't completely write off Chandler's chances, but emphasized that the pressure is squarely on the veteran's shoulders. It's possible. It's all mental, how they can get into their mind, and what they can get their body to do. You'd be surprised what people can do when they have the right mental approach.
Michael Chandler needs to stop calling out Conor McGregor.
I got one dude on my mind. Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor. And I still got one dude on my mind. Conor McGregor.
With his struggles in court and his new ambition in politics, I don't think Chandler is getting that fight anytime soon.
These comments from one of MMA's most respected coaches have raised eyebrows throughout the sport. Is this truly a must-win situation for Chandler? And can he overcome the momentum that Pimblett has built? One controversial subplot heading into this fight is the accusations of rule bending that have followed Chandler in recent bouts. After his fights with Poirier and Oliveira, some fans and fighters labeled Chandler a cheater, a narrative that has clearly bothered the veteran fighter. Addressing these accusations in a recent interview, Chandler didn't hold back. I mean, the narrative is tough, man. People don't really know me. Unless you're in my inner circle, you don't know who I truly am outside of being in front of the camera. People have their sneaky suspicions that I play nice in front of the camera, and I'm a bad guy behind the camera. You're always going to have those accusations, right? But I know who I am, and I know who I am at my core.
See the success for someone like that.
No, he's great, man. And Paddy and I have been in contact a little bit. You know, he's a marketable guy. He's a happy guy. He's a fun guy. He's fun to watch. He's fun on the microphone. He's the total package. And people can hate on him all they want, but really they're just being haters because Paddy Pimblett's the total package. But can he put it together inside the octagon within the bells and continue to keep winning? We'll see.
I met him briefly in England, in Manchester too. He's very charismatic. He's good. To be successful in this business of fighting, you need to be skilled, but more than that, you need to be charismatic. And in order to be charismatic, a lot of guys.
Chandler admitted to certain actions in the heat of battle, but defended himself. Did I grab Dustin Poirier's mouthpiece? Yes, I did, because I thought it was his chin. I've already addressed that one. Things happen in a fight. Are you going to reach over and grab the cage? Are you going to get your fingers in the glove? Yeah. Those things are going to happen in a fight. Interestingly, Pimblett has largely stayed away from this narrative, something Chandler appreciates. I respect Paddy for not making a big deal out of it. I mean, I think it's a sign of weakness when you start talking about a guy cheating. The implications of this fight extend far beyond UFC 314. For Chandler, a win keeps alive his dreams of eventually facing Conor McGregor and getting another shot at UFC Gold. At 38, time isn't on his side, and a loss to Pimblett could signal the beginning of the end.
Islam doesn't want to fight Charles again. Islam doesn't want to fight Poirier again. Islam doesn't want to fight some of these guys that he has fought before. He wants new blood, fresh blood, a new guy to get him excited to train every single day to go fight. And I am that guy. I think I've got a great style to beat Islam. As I said, good old-fashioned, passionate, hard-working Missouri Division I wrestling beats Dagestani Sambo every day of the week. I got dynamite in my hands. I got cardio for days. I can push the pace. I believe I beat Islam.
For Pimblett, the path forward is clear. He's already mapped out his route to a title shot. Probably only 2 fights this year. Beat Michael Chandler, fight in Abu Dhabi in October, beat someone like Charles Oliveira, and then fight for the belt next year. The Liverpudlian isn't just eyeing the title. He's specifically targeting Khabib Nurmagomedov's protege, Islam Makhachev. This adds another layer of intrigue to the fight, especially considering Team Khabib's comments favoring Pimblett. Now for the moment of truth. How will this fight play out? Chandler has promised violence, stating, "Scousers don't get knocked out apparently, but they've never been hit by the likes of me. I'm really excited to test his chin. I'm going to have 1 foot on the gas and 1 foot on Paddy's throat. I'm going to throw big bombs, and we're going to see if he sinks or swims."
Islam doesn't want to fight Charles again. Islam doesn't want to fight Poirier again. Islam doesn't want to fight some of these guys that he has fought before. He wants new blood, fresh blood, a new guy to get him excited to train every single day to go fight. And I am that guy. I think I've got a great style to beat Islam. As I said, good old-fashioned, passionate, hard-working Missouri Division I wrestling beats Dagestani Sambo every day of the week. I got dynamite in my hands. I got cardio for days. I can push the pace. I believe I beat Islam.
Pimblett, meanwhile, is confident in his submission skills and believes he can finish Chandler in the second round. Looking at the matchup objectively, this fight presents a classic clash of styles. Chandler's explosive power and wrestling credentials against Pimblett's slick submission game and improving striking. Chandler has faced the higher level of competition, but Pimblett has momentum and youth on his side.
And if you don't love the brand of Paddy Pimblett, it's fun, it's exciting. He's a guy who brings it. Scousers don't get knocked out. We'll put his name to the test. UFC 314.
Spades. Nice. Oh, he's got the neck. This could be it. He's done it. Paddy has done it.
The 5-round format could favor Pimblett if he can survive Chandler's early onslaught. We've seen Chandler fade in later rounds, while Pimblett has shown an ability to absorb damage and find a way to win. UFC 314's co-main event has all the ingredients of an instant classic. A veteran fighter with his back against the wall, a rising star looking to break into the elite, bad blood, high stakes, and contrasting styles. Will Michael Chandler silence the doubters and prove he still belongs at the top? Or will Paddy Pimblett take another step toward UFC stardom and a potential title shot? Let us know your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more UFC coverage. UFC 314 goes down next Saturday at the Kaseya Center in Miami, with Alexander Volkanovski defending his featherweight title against Diego Lopes in the main event.